Seconds.
Up and we're live.
We're live already?
Yes,
okay.
That was the shortest 16 seconds of your life, Lage.
Yeah, really, I know.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, it's day 2.
Yeah, day 2.
We can do this. We can do this.
So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Ragin to the Vlogs. It is February 16th, 2022.
Jesus.
It's my brother's birthday. I guess I need to call that fucker. All right, and here's our intro.
There you go.
And we are back.
Again. Day two. We can do this. And thank you for everyone joining us, watching us, wherever you are, on Twitter, what are we? We're on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, in the chat.
We're on every street corner.
Yeah, we're pretty much, everywhere we can. And it's like, and of course, just as I suspected, it's the room isn't as hello, good morning. It is not as crowded as it was yesterday, but I was kind of figuring that. It's like, I think that yesterday a lot of people tuned in out of curiosity. And now it's like, oh yeah, they really are a dumpster fire.
That's okay.
Yeah, so no, that's fine. That's fine. Everybody, you know what? You'll catch us on the replay. So
and they come sprinkling in. They'll be here.
That's true. So before we get started, I just want to make mention for everybody to spare a thought or two to George Perez, who entered hospice. I can't even begin to describe how much of an inspiration he is and still is to me and a lot of people out there, a lot of comic book people, out there.
Right.
And yes, and, just, just like I said, just spare a thought for him, and pretty much that. Hello Tyler, hello Allison, hello William, hello, welcome.
Everyone's over at Brian's show. Oh, that's right, it's Wednesday.
Yeah. I guess, do we have any housekeeping? Oh yes, we do. Yes, hold on. Of course, I'm answering my own question here. On lighter news, I would like to congratulate Sam for probably doing the craziest, literally living up to his name, the craziest launch party I have ever seen.
In fact, you guys should leave here and go watch his replay.
Hey, Stone.
Hey, Stone. Welcome to the shit show.
Yeah. Well, it's like we try. Or we don't, for that matter. I don't know. Right?
Hey, I'm giving it effort today.
Yeah. So his launch party was for There's an Alien in My Toilet. You can find it on Kickstarter. It's an all ages comedy, taking, I guess, one of the best or worst kid jokes ever and turning it into a story.
And it is in our show notes.
Yes.
So.
And and of course, like I said, the parrot is the third co-host, so please put up with him because we can't stop him.
We're not going to explain him away on here. We're not going to apologize because
exactly.
Leave
exactly.
If you don't like it, bye.
You guys should be used to it by now. So
thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So check out There's an Alien in My Toilet on Kickstarter. He's almost halfway to goal.
Nice.
So yeah, let's send, this book is about an alien named Duty that invades Earth, and it's time
And he's
for
from
us,
Uranus.
yeah,
Don't forget that part.
and
That's
it's
critical.
time for us to send him to the moon. So yeah, so support the book today. What are you waiting for? Oh yeah, and I guess it's like, while Stone is in the chat, he also has a Kickstarter running for his book. I think it's Journey of Shadow, which is if you ever was curious about, to put it simply, how a little rocket scientist writes sci-fi.
Yep, make sure you pick
up this novel. It's a novel, but he has some really, really cool prints by fan favorite Shikari. I think that I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. Also on Kickstarter.
And he's got several hot bitches to choose from. Right.
Yes. Exactly. Every hot goddess you could think of
so
is
many
available.
Waifus, so little time.
Oh, hello, Marvi. Welcome. Yes.
Hey.
See, right. Everyone's trickling in. Everybody's trickling in. So, and last but not least, because I'm, of course, I'm biased. Just a reminder that the Kickstarter for Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, issue 4 is less than a month away from launching. It launches on March 14th, and it's now on pre-launch. So you can now hit the link that's also in the show notes and click on the pre-launch to get notified when the campaign goes live. Obrigado. So that's I guess like that's all the updates that we have for today. For now, so check, everything's in the show notes. Everything we mention or maybe forget to mention is all in the show notes.
Yeah. That tends to happen sometimes.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess in the spirit of things, so. Our little goals yesterday. Our little goals. So, Nita, did you meet your little goal for yesterday? What are we calling those?
I started it. It was more than I could finish. So then I got all like caught up in my feels, going through old text messages and all that crap, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's normal. That's going to be a thing for a bit.
Let's cry ourselves to sleep tonight. All right. And except I cried myself awake.
Right.
Oh. Like to the point it hurts to close your eyes.
It's going to be tough for a while. It's they say that time heals all wounds, and I don't think that's really I don't think that's really accurate. I think it's just like time just lessens the pain a bit, but it doesn't heal.
Well, in the beginning, it kind of makes it worse because, and I'm going to do this without melting down. Okay, so hang tight, people. I promise it's not going to be an ugly cry. Time since Mare passed, time has actually made things worse for me because it's like that, especially for the first few days, it was like every time I got that notification, like out of habit, I'd look up, I'd get a message and I'd go to forward and it'd be like, fuck. And then Facebook is such an evil bitch because we have not memorialized her page just yet. She was staying in my top, like she stayed. Meredith and I talked so much that she stayed my number 1 on the top of my list for 13 days. 13 days after she passed away. And then she slowly started going down. And last night, she disappeared. And it was just like, fuck you, Facebook. And so I started reading messages. And I even thought about sending her a text just to bring her bubble back because it mattered. It's weird.
Little heart emoji or something.
It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like, erasing someone's phone number from your cell phone. It's like, that's how you know it's over. It's like, Yeah, now that's going to be that's going to be a thing for a while. I mean, um, so yeah, well, at least you were able to get through most of your little goals, I guess.
Yeah, I really did. It I didn't realize how much shit I had on my computer first and how disorganized I'd let the drive get. So most of yesterday was spent organizing the drive.
Mm-hmm.
The Google Drive for the Ragin channel, and it was just like
It's like so. How many files you had named final, final, final?
well, now none.
Yeah.
Now none. And nothing is called somebody's shit
Right.
or random shit.
Right. You need names.
I needed to be more specific because now it's like now you have 3 files. You're gonna have a media file, and then no, that's the arrow file.
Right.
But we have your file, the arrow file, and then branding for each show, branding for the social media accounts. I'm trying to be organized. I really am. I want my desktop. Meredith's desktop was an inspiration when I went to her house. It's like, how in the fuck, man? That's some OCD shit there. But it was so easy to fucking navigate once I figured out how it worked. And so now here I go. I'm cleaning house.
Well, yeah, I'm still emptying out the office myself. So so that's,
hello, Dustin.
Oh, Dustin's in the chat too. Hello. Let's see. So what was my little goal? What did I say I was going to do? Oh yeah, pages 15 and 16. Which I'm 3 panels short of finishing because I realized I needed to map out a background. The scene takes place in a throne room, and I don't know what the throne room looks like, so I have to map that out before I can actually finish the 3 panels so that I know where the characters sit in the background. So, little technical details.
No, that's expert world building.
Yeah. It's funny that it's like it was funny. I don't remember if we were talking about this before. Before we went live, that's how. Yeah, I'm kind of like a little sleep hazy myself too. And so one of the things that Meredith got me into, which I'm glad that we are continuing, we have pretty much continued, without really stopping. It's just that yesterday I think was the first time, it felt like we were actually working, creatively working. Yeah. And so what Meredith got me completely addicted to is something that she called Cubicle Club, where pretty much all we do is we come in on a stream that's not live, of course. It's like it's just us in a stream, and we just work. And and if if ever you've come across like certain productivity issues, this might be something that
to look into.
Yeah, to look into. That it's like, hook up with some people who are, doing something similar that you are, and just go in a stream together. And the funny thing is that it's not like it's like it's it's like, and what's funny is like we don't sometimes we don't spend the entire time talking. We're literally just working, and we're like in silence for a lot of the time,
but with everybody's background noise too, which is kind of comforting in a way because it's not quite as lonely, and it makes you feel like you're being watched. So it's like I have to be productive now.
Yeah, and I found that I have become very, a lot more productive with that. Like, there's something very ASMR listening to you type on your computer. And there's something comforting with that, while I'm working and I hear you, and I hear your keys going. So it's like, so it's just kind of weird. Like, there are just some times where we talk the entire way through, and then there are times when we're on there, oh, the VAT taxes. Yeah, it's like that is something that at least on my campaigns that I've been putting together now, I've been mentioning VAT taxes. And just really quick, in Europe there's additional import taxes that the person buying the product have to be responsible for. I am not responsible for that. I don't control that.
Yeah.
So
I'm not your
there's a
government.
chance, yeah, I know. It's like there's so it's like if you're buying from Europe, if you're supporting American Kickstarters and you're buying from Europe, there is a chance, and this is the thing, because it doesn't seem like across the board, there might be a chance you have to pay extra to get your stuff from Kickstarter. So
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
that's something that to keep in mind when you back these Kickstarters if you're in Europe. But yeah, but that's a little side note.
That is simple, Michaela. Just pop in a StreamYard and send links to friends. Do the
record only. You create a broadcast that's record only, and of course you're not sending it to any other social media. It's just record only, and then you send links from that StreamYard to whoever you want to invite in.
And so go to work.
Yeah, and go to work. Yeah, exactly. So I found my productivity really go up, but because of that, because I have to concentrate on actually working, it's like it doesn't allow, because I'm kind of like tethered to the computer literally. I can't just get up every time I get distracted.
Right.
So it's probably the only time that I can work several hours straight through.
Oh yeah.
So last night, like I said, was the first time that we actually worked. And even when Meredith was in the club and whatnot, I always found it fascinating to see how her and Nita worked together when they were like brainstorming. And it was kind of really fascinating for me to watch. So I got like this entirely different perspective on the writing process. And yesterday I was watching Nita do the same thing. She was workshopping like a poem or something.
Oh yeah.
So she was going back and forth with somebody else on the phone, reading lines out loud, debating words and whatnot. And I was riveted. I was absolutely riveted. Because it's kind of funny, because when JD works, and JD, he writes Tall Tales and the Oswald Chronicles, when he works, it's very, it always seems to me very solitary. Even though he says that he does a lot of observation in the real world and then he incorporates that. But in and of itself, it comes off as very solitary to me. And this was kind of like, and when I started in Cubicle Club, that's when I started to see that writing could actually be kind of like a group sport, almost, and just literally watching Nita debate certain words. It's like, I mean, and it's just really funny because it's like, it could be any word. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to go into detail as to
the word of the day was clitoris. What?
Well then, okay, there we go. we are TV MA, if you haven't noticed at the beginning. So but actually it was the two words that they were really debating was, what is it? Was slide and what was the other one?
Slide or glide.
Something
glide
like that, right?
Slide.
And it's literally like, just watching them debate which word sounded better, and they were like saying it in sentences, and it's like, oh, but it feels like this and it feels like that, like really like they were like tasting wine almost, that it's like, oh, well, this one has more body, but yes, but this one has a more robust flavor. It's just like,
it literally be like that sometimes,
right? And it reminded me of like whenever I talk about drawing erotic work, or the way look, when I'm drawing goddamn porn. I mean, it's like, that's just really, when I'm drawing porn, and people always, there's always people, the smart asses, who ask, oh, you must be horny all the time, and it's like, dude, it's like, dude, I'm trying. I just spent the last 20 minutes trying to get this foot to look right. It's not what you think. It's like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that was just like, and then it's like, and then it's like in the middle of it, then it's like, oh, can I try something? And I threw a couple of sentences at her, and stuff. And it's just like, like me and her didn't do any real brainstorming, but I kind of got a taste of it. So it's like, this has potential. Right? So, so I mean, I don't want to monopolize the entire stream because I can go on. I can go on with this, but the thing is though, like what was, I mean, it's like, what is your take on Cubicle Club and this virtual brainstorming that
I don't know, it's just something that comes natural to me because I will sit there, if no one's talking to me, I will talk to myself.
Right.
Because I have to keep hearing it out loud. But it's really weird because I'm uncomfortable reading my own stuff out loud through from beginning to end, but I will sit there and I will glides down her leg. I will sit there and I will do that and I will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until and change a word here and alter it there or change my tone as to how I want it read, and I will do that until I'm happy with that sentence, and then I move on. But I can't go back and read the whole thing myself. So I always make somebody read it back to me because I'll catch stuff that I wasn't catching when I was writing it. Like, okay, like one thing I was having a problem with yesterday was face down and ass up. Because I didn't want to say, I wanted it to be, it was more impactful to say face down, ass up, instead of face down and ass up. But then I started hearing face down, ass up, that's the way we like to fuck. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, can't do that. So now the and has to stay.
Right. So yeah. It's like a
simple, little stupid stuff like that, little nuances.
Right. Yeah. And little things like that. Like we think it's a cool sentence until we say it out loud, and then it reminds us of something that probably we shouldn't
like
be
face
thinking
down,
of.
ass up.
Right.
It's
yeah.
a song now. It's a song in my head now.
Right. Yeah. And the thing is though, it's like it's funnier because we're talking about like erotic sentences, but the thing is though, this happens with just like regular writing too. Where it's like you think you're writing something profound, and then it's like you realize you're I don't know. It's like it's bringing something silly in your head that kind of ruins the vibe. Right? So I mean, yeah, that's kind of So yeah, so it was just really funny to like really to see that, because it's like. Yeah, like it's like when I was watching you and Meredith, like get into that, it was kind of like this verbal ping pong, know, where it's like, where it's like, okay, well, this word and that word and this sentence, oh, this sentence doesn't really work, and then also the thing about like reading out loud too is that you realize that there are certain combination of words that when you read it. Looks fine,
right?
But when you say it
out loud, it trips you up. There's not a natural flow of dialogue.
Now here's a question. Now here's a question about that. So when you come across a sentence like that, so which do you end up choosing? The one that sounds right or the one that reads right?
Reads right always, because it's gonna have to be the one that reads right, or sounds right, because
is it read right or sound right?
Sounds right, because there's times it'll look okay, like written out, but other times I don't know, it just can't be clunky, because when you look at it and it looks like a pretty sentence, it looks like the grammar's correct and everything, but then when you say it, if it's clunky or your tongue or you stutter or stumble or trip over your words while you're trying to say it, that can ruin the mood, the feel. Like, you don't want that. You need that flow. It needs to come out natural. It needs to.
So you prioritize the way it sounds.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm still. I know I've been talking for months about this audiobook thing, which I'm going to say it now. My goal, the goal that I'm going to focus on next is I'm going to have the Legend of the Silk Rose Eagle Raven prequel finished as a audiobook for the next campaign in March. So I'm saying it right now. I'm manifesting it as the weird kids like to say. I'm manifesting it.
No. I'll be right back.
Oh, we're in danger. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, are we okay?
Children are not allowed in here.
Oh no. Yeah. Not at the moment.
Yeah, boot this little viewer here.
So I know that that's going to be something that I'm going to come across, because this story I've had written for, I don't know, like maybe like the past 10 years, and I pretty much consider it done. But I know for a fact when I start reading it out loud, I might have to do slight editing to make it sound correct on the audiobook. That might be, it might vary slightly from the text.
See, Michaela, like that's a very fucking complicated question to answer, because Michaela's like reads right, because if it doesn't read right, it'll pull your reader out of the moment. But if I'm sitting there and trying to read it, like I have an audible voice when I read, like it's weird in my head. So either way, it's gonna it really has. You have to find where both come together.
Right. Yeah.
You really do, because she's right. Like now that I'm thinking about it, if you look at it visually and it's slowing you down, but if it doesn't flow like a natural conversation or natural description,
right,
it doesn't work either. So it's really it's the struggle to do both. Read and sound right.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, and and the thing is, and especially since again, something that Meredith told me that
both ways usually do work, Michaela.
Right. That she found it interesting that even though I'm predominantly a comic book artist, I think in prose.
Which is beautiful.
Which
we
is
talked
funny.
about that. We talked about you so much when we figured you out. We're like, look at this beautiful brain over here.
And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I came into comics really late. Late considering like actual comics as something that I could do, not something that's just like background entertainment.
Right.
And I came into that really late, I probably around 11, 12, when most people are talking about, oh yeah, I was into comics since I was 2 type of thing. And so my whole basis was novels. It's
so that was mine.
Yeah.
So I didn't get into comics until MTV.
Oh, right.
Back when they did music videos during the day, they did the Oddity cartoons at night, and one of the oddities was the Max. And it was like, and that's what got me into comic books, is I hit the shops and started going back in the story and just fell in love from there.
Yeah. So but the thing, so my writing basis starts with prose. I learned from reading prose, not from reading comics.
Right.
So every time I come up with an idea for a comic story, 9 times out of 10, it started out as prose, as a prose vignette. Sure. So, and then it's so I write this paragraph, and what's funny is because I came this morning, I had an epiphany, and it was I stopped working a regular outside job back in 2013. So from 2013 to now, I've been pretty much working from home, doing nothing but comics and art. But just to preface that for me to get to this point took a lot of planning for 10 years before that. So it's not something that came out of the blue. It's just that when I was finally laid off from my job, I was actually in a position from all that preparation to be able to do this. So it's not like,
don't go buy some Copics markers.
Right? Yeah, exactly. I think you just quit your job tomorrow, and it's like that's a whole other story. That's a whole other story. If I don't know, if one day you guys want me to tell it as to what I did or didn't do or whatnot, but the bots, the Russians are here, so okay, so there you go. This morning I realized that for like, you know how you get stress. Hey,
awesome last night.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was just all crazy go nuts happening last night. So you know how it's like you have like these stress dreams where it's like you're dreaming about work or you're dreaming about school. Oh, it's like, those kind of like reoccurring stress dreams. This morning, I realized I haven't been having those. What I've been having instead is stress brainstorming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where it's like my brain is actually like, I'm sleeping. I'm like, and it usually happens just before I wake up, where my brain goes, okay, we have to hammer out this plot detail. We have to hammer out this story bit. Or it's like, we have this idea.
Hey, Russ.
Oh, Russ. Hello, Russ.
Oh, my God.
Good morning, or at least good afternoon for you. Hello. Yes. Hello. And so I've been having like stress brainstorming. And when I realized that this morning, I was just so ecstatic at that, because it's like, oh, finally we're doing something productive.
Right.
So before I go on with the rest of this story, we're at the half-hour mark. So why don't we give Sam a little love bump? And
that's right. And if you're here and you're bored, hey, head over to Catch the Craze and watch last night's replay.
Yeah, no, really, it's just I was surprised. I thought that guy,
nailed it.
Oh
my gosh. I was so like, we were sitting here before and we're like debating on who your guest could be.
Yeah. And I'm thinking it was like, he brought, I'm talking
he's going to have a suit. He's going to have a fursuit.
Right. Oh. And it's like, it's like, look, I thought he was going to bring in like an old friend of ours, like Brian Kong or something, like maybe, he's in Texas. And, I thought it was supposed to be something like that. I was not expecting what he actually did.
All right. So here, check out the bump,
check out Catch the Craze.
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at?
A Catch the Craze podcast.
What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you going to do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
You are an independent. Catch the Craze! Making moves on your own. Catch the Craze! On your grind in the streets. Catch the Craze! Join the movement. Catch the Craze!
And it's got to be good if my own co-host is calling the #1. So why are you still here?
Because
George,
Sam and George, hey George, Sam and George got their own thing going. So where was it? Oh yes, the writing, the stress, the stress brainstorming, right?
Right.
So first thing this morning, exactly. So first thing this morning, right? I ended up with one of those again, where it's like my brain goes, okay, we have this story detail you need to figure out. Write these down. Write these words down. we'll make one. I'll make one for you guys. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so it's like, so I'm getting up, it's like it's like sometimes the cats just have to wait for the wet food when I get kind of like this, because it's like I have to get these words out before I forget them.
Right.
And sure enough, I ended up like, so this is literally the start. You're all getting a sneak peek at my creative process here. Oh, there subscribe.
Do it.
So you're all getting a sneak peek to my creative process right now. So this is I know if when you watch, like, I don't think I've ever even done this on my own stream. Usually you guys are like in the middle, you catch me in the middle of drawing pages or inking or whatever. But this is literally how it starts for me. So I wake up in the morning, I take care of what I need to take care of. Like I said, sometimes the cats have to wait for their wet food. And then it's like I just type out, I just go to my computer and I just literally just type out what's in my head. And sometimes it's really just this short. Like this little vignette here is 343 words that I had to get out of my head. And in these 343 words are several questions. They touch on several questions that then from here I start asking, okay, why? Because this is literally like, this has no context. Well, at least, it's like it has like no real context. It's literally just, this is a scene. This is the scene that I have to write down. And what's funny is that sometimes I look at these, and that happened last night when I was reading certain things to Nita, where it's like, sometimes I don't even believe that I wrote this stuff.
Right.
Like, it's literally, I'm just writing and these words are coming out in this combination, like this combination of words. And then I look back on it and it's like, I can't believe I wrote that. Like, what made me think that? It's like, it's just like, these are just like, I have to get them out. And then like sort out the details later. And by the way, everybody, say good morning to Jose, who's now
good morning.
JD, if you know him as JD, he's making breakfast right now before he goes to work. Oh, hey Joe, Joe's in the house. Hey
what
Mike.
Up,
so the funny thing is that I don't know. Yeah, so that was the thing. So it's like I said, there's no context to this scene yet. So I don't know if it would be considered like a spoiler or anything, because it's not connected to anything. Like, it happens. So this is a scene that happens way down the road, way down past my 15 issues or whatnot. So I don't, so it's like, so you know what? I'm going to take a chance that it might be a spoiler, but not a spoiler, but it's so down the road that it's like, you guys will, if I finally do something with this, you guys won't even remember that I did it here. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, sometimes I get enough of these vignettes that they start coming together as a full story. So again, this is a first, because last night Nita challenged me to try to read my own stuff out loud.
You did.
And
then your mom called us.
Yeah, and then my mom called. So but this one wasn't as what I was trying to read last night. But I thought everybody would kind of like enjoy seeing this process. So I have this scene, like I said, it has no context. It just came out this morning. It's like, I don't have anything together yet. And it is a conversation Let me get my cue cards out because I don't know how. If you follow me on Facebook, you know these characters, okay? If you follow me on Facebook. So this is a conversation between Loki, right? So this is my Loki, which his creation is a whole other story I can get into later. And Eros. These are two gods who are pretty much Eagle Raven's guardians. Okay? So this is a conversation between...
Thank you. It's a shit show.
Right, yeah, exactly. But we're actually having a serious creative moment right now. We're having a serious creative powwow right now. So the scene is two gods arguing with each other, you know. So okay. all right. Okay, let me
So are you struggling with dialogue or world building?
This is more world building because there's a lot of whys in this that I have to answer later. Okay. But this is where my world building starts, is from this scene. Well, in this particular case, it's going to be in this scene, and then from here, I'm going to start asking all the whys that expand the world building. Right. So. Okay, let's see. So, all right. Hold on. You know what? Let me do it like this. Let me do it because I think I have to do it like this.
Oh, come on, Daphne. You said we're gonna see your O face.
Right. No. There's no reason for that here. But I kind of think that I want people to listen to the words. Okay. You know, I think that's the thing. I want people to listen to the words. Right. So, okay. So this is what came out this morning. Before I fed the cats. For some reason, I named it. The name of this vignette is called Heart Song. Okay. Eros was livid. You're the one who doesn't seem to understand the severity of the situation. She is suicidal, Loki, and immortal. She cannot die. Yes, she can end her life on the mortal plane if she tries damn well hard enough. But all that does is trap her in the god realm as a guardian to be forgotten. And we already have seen the chaos that happens with that. Because being forgotten for an immortal is a fate worse than death. There is no peaceful eternal sleep for us, and she doesn't understand that. Loki stood frozen as the golden god released his tirade over him. When her divinity was awakened, we were the ones called. We are not just her patrons. We have been tasked to make sure she learns her place as a walker between worlds. As a guardian for the mortal and immortal planes. Us, Loki. The divine magic didn't give us a choice any more than it gave her one. And your stunt with her last night was more than irresponsible. The horned god forced his words out. I wasn't thinking. I know you weren't! Eros' pale skin flushed red with rage. All you could think about was how long you've nurtured your base desires for her and jumped at an opportunity she presented that you should have known better to avoid. Her mortal emotions are already jumbled enough, and here you are making it worse. Loki bit his lip and looked away as Eros folded his arms and fumed. She can't have gone far or done anything rash. We're still here. Loki reluctantly spoke. Eros didn't answer. There was a long pause as the two men stood in tense silence. As the horned god turned to make his way out of the cabin, he heard his friend clear his throat. He turned back, and they looked back at each other. You claim to love her, Loki. It's time to finally prove it. Loki looked away and silently made his way into the wood. Did I just embarrass myself? I think I just embarrassed myself. Embarrassed myself. You know, so that's where it starts off. So, and the thing is, though, it's like I said, these words were just coming out this morning. They were just coming out. I wasn't really thinking about them. Right. So the questions that, the questions that I'm going to be asking myself later is the whole concept of her being a guardian, the whole concept of how immortals don't die. You know, it's like, you know, the whole
Look
thing.
at your fans, Daphne. Uh-oh.
Right?
The shit show became the snip show. Yeah.
You know, yeah, well, yes, Joe, thank you. Yeah, that's kind of, that's kind of what happened. And but like I said, it's like, it's completely out of context now. This is completely out of context. So now it's like, I have to follow, that's the road I have to follow. You know, so it's like, okay, so where does this connect? You know, it's like, you know, where does, you know, all this. So yeah, so this is where a comic comes from. This is where my comics come from. And it just leads to another thing too. Is that at what point do I make it a comic, and at what point do I keep it prose?
Well, that depends on that depends on what's going on, because there are some things that cannot be conveyed through art. Like, you don't get that emotion. It's weird, because in art there is emotion. Right. You get expression and things, but there's sometimes you just need a little more than you can put in a comic. Right. As far as description. Yeah. And to me, that's what you're writing. Good luck translating that with just art.
Right.
And a couple of bubbles.
And that's the thing, because
that stays prose. You know.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So it's like the world building comes from that. But then it's like, okay, how much? Okay, so Joe, is it okay to ask writing question prompts to help in the word building? I mean, absolutely,
for sure,
absolutely. That's
yeah, I'm saying pros on that one too, and I'm non-biased there.
Right, you know, it's like, I mean, because all storytelling, or at least the way I do it, it's all asking questions and asking those prompts. You know, it's like, well, what if? I mean, the only reason Eagle Raven ended up a comic book, because you got to remember, she started off as a mascot. You know, she just started off as a pinup. And I just kept asking, what if? What happened? Right. You know, what I was asking, because like, what did you do? What do you do? You know, It's like, so that's all. And then it's like, from those questions, I then sometimes end up with these vignettes. Sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. Not every vignette is created equal, and not every vignette makes any sense, and sometimes some of them don't even get used.
Right.
So sometimes they ask questions that in the end it's like, it's not, you know, not really working. Like, you know, it's like, I'm not really getting any answers. You know, so,
yep.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, what if? Yeah, and that's really the thing. It's like, it's kind of like, whenever I get stuck, it's like, that's the question that I ask. It's like, what if? What did you do? Where do you go from here? What happened here? Is this important? That's right. The next one too. Is this important? You know, and it's like, That's something that I do explore. I mean, it's like, when you read actual mythology, you know, it's like, especially the Greeks, you know, it's like, they loved mixing with mortals, didn't they? you know, and it is something that it's kind of, so in my world building, it's something that's common, but it's not really encouraged, you know, because mortals die and immortals don't. So it's like, you can't really, you know, yeah, it's like, it just makes things complicated, you know? So it does happen. Oh, Mike, forget it. It's like, there's this whole thing that, Yeah, it's like sometimes I like to touch upon the actual mythology with with this jerk off, and it's like it's just really funny. It's just really funny that it's like, you know, Marvel would never. Marvel would never. You will never hear bestiality jokes out of Marvel's Loki.
Yes, we love the Lage Loki.
You know, so yeah, that you know,
gosh.
right, yeah. You know, so yeah, so that's if you're kind of like curious, you know, as to my thought process, like why I'm kind of all over the place, this is where it starts.
Where I get tied up though is, are people going to understand what I meant by that? Like, I know it sounds like way off, but it's kind of the same. It's like you get caught up, like everybody has their own nostalgia, their own, you know, their own way they remember things, especially like if you're thinking back to childhood or whatever.
Right, yeah.
And so it's like in the description and world building, okay, hold on, I'll give you a perfect example. Okay. So, and seriously, guys, tell me in the comments if you get it, especially you, Michaela, because I know you grew up in the country. Okay, so the opening of this story starts barefoot scurrying down the dirt path leading up to the place they called home. The two children were guided only by the porch light in the distance and their memories of where to step. Like, do you get that? And their memories of where to step?
Oh, that I love that line.
You're running home, and it's like, you know where every fucking hole is. You know you've got to get your ass over there.
That line.
Every broken. Okay, good. Okay,
yeah, that's exactly what I mean, because it's like, yeah, that's exactly, like, you know what it is. It reminds me. So the house before we lived in this house, we lived like in Elmhurst, which is, you know, block. It's like, I guess, like I want to say township, but that's Miami. But it's like, it's, you know, so
message you later, Glenn.
Yeah. And so, and the thing is though, every time I see that building that we used to live in, it's like, that's exactly what happens. The memory of where I used to step. Like, I could literally run that line exactly into that building, into the elevator,
blindfolded in the dark.
Yeah,
you know,
like it's just like just emblazoned in my memory.
Because it's one of those where it's like, it sounded good.
Yeah.
But it when you're looking at it, it's like in their memories of where to step. Is everyone gonna get that? You know? Okay.
No, and I completely understand that.
Right.
I
feel so much better now.
That. Yeah. No.
That's my non-porn novel. By the way.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You know. Oh, and hello, Glenn. Yes. Hello, Glenn. Everybody is trickling, so slowly trickling in. You know, especially at the end of this. So, I mean, yeah. So it's like, so like I said, the just this. I think that the Cubicle Club and having these group streams and whatnot has kind of like really done wonders for my for my creativity. And I highly recommend, if you have, I highly recommend that if you're having a little bit of problem with productivity in general, I highly recommend hooking up with friends who are doing the same thing you are and just doing a virtual cubicle, you know, a little virtual office space.
Right.
You know, because I think you'll be amazed at what you'll be able to accomplish.
It keeps you focused. You get shit done.
You know, so...
Well, okay, but be careful who you bring in the room.
Well, that's true, too.
Because we, like, you know, Meredith and I had done it for a while, and every now and then we'd bring somebody in or whatever. And there was a couple people, it was just like, holy crap, do you ever shut up? Or... no, I can't come look at your share screen every 5 minutes. I'm in another tab because half the time I'm not even looking at you. That's why you're like, I'm going to take myself off camera. And I'm like, I'm not even there anyway. But okay, go ahead, do it. You do what you do for your comfort.
Right.
But so, and your work needs to be similar. Like,
right.
it.
yeah, you kind of have to vibe already if you know, for it to work. You know, I mean, yeah, that because it's like they're really, oh, hi, Zing. You know, there's a certain, yeah, there's yeah, because it's that that collaborative effort. Well, yeah, that happens too.
Exactly.
That happens too. Yeah. You know, but yeah, it's like yeah, you kind of have to do it with people you're already vibing with and you have similar interests so that you can start talking about, well, I'm having an issue with this or I'm having an issue with that.
Right.
You know, because it's like, yeah, there's certain things that I was able to talk to Nita and Meredith about that it turned out they were kind of the only people I could talk about it because it's like it was just a little too niche, let's just say. So, you know, but yeah, it's,
Well, what started us doing it is, well, Meredith had done it for a while back when she was, you know, doing Geek all the time with a couple people, and every now and then I'd pop in or whatever. But what really got us going is watching the guys do the drawing talks.
Yeah.
And it was like, we could do that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how that started. And no, actually, how it really started was it was the two of us, and we were talking about story ideas, and she read a section of dialogue, and she was reading it from two characters' perspectives, but it was sounding like the same person. There was no clear definition, so we started role playing in a StreamYard. Like pop in a StreamYard, and it's like, okay, I'll take this guy and you take this one, and we started the back and forth with the dialogue, and that's what helped us get more of the natural flow of conversation.
Yeah.
And then it was like, hey, this works, and then the next thing you know, it's like, hey, let's call this chick. Let's see if so and so wants to come. Okay, and
right,
and it just took off from there.
Yeah. So,
forgetting they're there, and then like go pick your nose and be like, oh fuck.
Right. Well, that's the thing too. It's like you kind of have to remember you're on camera too. Yeah.
Yes, role playing helps a lot.
I was surprised.
I am going to miss that.
Yeah. I mean, the closest I get is just recording myself reading it and then playing it back. I have like an entire playlist.
You can totally read out loud to me, Daphne.
Okay, well there you go. We can do that too. Or it's like, you know, if you guys enjoyed that that thing, I can find something else to read out loud if you want to hear more of the shit in my brain.
Yes, the shit in your brain is beautiful.
You know? So, little, you know, at least, like I said, the vignettes are just very, very short and out of context. But, you know, maybe you'll catch me making voices.
Oh my gosh, let me tell you something. I used to totally torture her because there was this self-proclaimed writer. Not gonna say his name, but we had some really, 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 really awful stuff he put out. And his grammar was terrible, and his punctuation was shit, and just like, anyway. So I used to make Meredith read me his stories out loud. She had to use voices, but she had to read it as it was written. If it was misspelled, you had to pronounce that shit as it was spelled out. Like everything had to be phonetically, and you followed his punctuation. And because it was so funny to watch her get winded when she would read like this fucking 75-word sentence because there'd be no commas, no. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It's like, Joe, the stories. Yeah, really. The stories behind the doodles, they can be like their own show. You know, it's like, you know, especially since I had to stop playing the game that I was playing because it started upsetting me. The story started upsetting me, so I had to kind of like hold off on the game. But I can explain. I can talk a little bit. We can save that story for tomorrow because it's so stupid. It's like, you know.
Stupid's great. Stupid is welcome.
You know. So we're just hitting the top of the hour, so I guess it's like time to wind it down. So Nita, what are your small goals for today?
To just to keep working on the drive. I mean, it's crazy. I'm going. There's so much. I haven't even gotten through stuff I'd already had saved, let alone begin to touch Meredith. And I have to do it. I have to open every single file, every single folder, and fucking really, really look, because I don't want to miss anything that she wrote. Because there's broken pieces of different stuff everywhere. So it's going to be putting it together. Right. And yeah, so still going through the drives. That's all day. Yeah. Well, I gotta go clean my kitchen.
Oh well, yeah, that's good. That's a good goal too. That's a good goal. Not every goal has to be creative. It just has to be something you have to do.
Like tonight, I'm gonna start fasting again. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm done at freaking 6. I'm done, and try to get back on track, because like the bus ride, I really fucked up. I was like, fuck the world.
The situation was, you see, but that's why I always say, like, don't do it 30-day, do it day by day, because when something happens, this, you know what, this is why, all this is why, you know, we just take it day by day, you know. Yeah, so my goal for today is to map out this throne room, so I have like a proper background, and then to finish my page, my 3 panels, well, the 2 pages, because it's like, and then I could finally call myself halfway through issue 7. So,
yay.
You know, so yeah, so that I really got to do that, because also I have to draw out the throne room so I can use it for later.
You need the map.
You know, right, exactly. I need a map. So, which is a whole other part of the creative process. So yeah, so that's pretty much, I think that's pretty much it for today. We made it to another hour. And I'd like to thank everybody in the chat, everybody watching. My screen says we have 14 people watching, you know, and we have, you know, so thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button wherever you're watching this from, because, you know, it's like, you know, I'm hoping that, you know, if you made it to this hour, it's because we managed to entertain you, and it's like, you know, and we want to, and we appreciate you for enjoying us, and we'd like you to return the favor by just pressing that subscribe button, and like I said, helping build these channels, whether you're watching this on Ragin, whether you're watching this on my channel, you know, encourage us to do more.
Do it.
You know, and build, you know, and it's like, you know, Meredith is watching you. So yes. Meredith is watching you. So
hit the button.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
You know, so again, thank you very much, everybody. So, Nita, you have anything for the peoples today?
Stay kind, stay productive, mind your own fucking business.
Yep. Right.
And get to work.
Right, yeah, do the work. It's like, no matter what happens, no matter how you do it, do the work, because that's how things happen. They don't, wishing, you know, it's like, wishing doesn't make things happen. Doing the work makes things happen. So on that note, we'll see you all again tomorrow at 11 a.m. with more of something. We'll think of
more
something.
More of these shenanigans.
Yeah, more of this. But,
and here's our temporary outro, because we don't know how to leave yet. So bye, y'all.
Bye.
Well, then get your shit together. Get it all together and put it in a backpack. All your shit, so it's together. And if you gotta take it somewhere, you know? Take it to the shit store and sell it. Or put it in a shit museum. I don't care what you do. You just gotta get it together.